Hey guys, thanks so much for joining DriveChats today. Whether you're watching the YouTube video or listening to the podcast, stay tuned. Hey guys, thanks so much for tuning in. You are in the car with me on my way back from dropping my toddler off at preschool, and so I've decided that the days that I am dropping her off, that I am going to do what I like to call drive chats. So today I want to talk about consistency. And I've talked about it before, but it's super important to your journey. So whether you're being consistent with your nutrition, your workout, your mindset, it is super important to keep in mind that consistency is key, which sounds really, really cliche, but it is so important to remember that as long as you're putting in the work, you may not see the results overnight, you may not see it over a week, but you will see those results, especially with nutrition. If you're making, healthier choices, if you are able to really focus on just keeping that positive mindset, like I talked about, in one of my podcasts, then you're really going to see those results. And honestly, I've been telling myself this really, that positive self-talk, and that is a consistent thing as well. And today when I stepped in front of the mirror, I have been learning to really love the journey and love each and every step and each and every lesson. And today I stepped in front of the mirror and I was just so happy because I'm seeing these amazing results because I'm staying consistent, and I'm seeing success because that consistency is happening each and every day. I may not be perfect each and every day, but I will be consistent with my workouts, really focused on my hydration, my water intake, and staying in that really positive mindset. And that is going to be something that is really over time, staying consistent with those small changes is going to get you those big amazing results, and that success that you are really striving for in your journey. And so for example, the other night I went out to an Italian restaurant with my my husband and my grandmother who was visiting, and the kids, and I had the choice. I had the choice to stick with what I know what works for me, or I had the choice to treat myself. And I decided I was craving the results more than I was craving pasta. So when the waitress came, we were all ordering, and I was like, you know what? I was like, and I'm gonna get the seafood Alfredo, but instead of the pasta, can I get it over broccoli? And at first the waitress kind of looked at me, and I think she thought I wanted a side of broccoli, so I repeated myself again, and she was able to do it for me. So that's the thing about consistency. You can go out and enjoy yourself, and make these alternatives and these substitutes and still have success. So when I did that, then I came home, I treated myself to some Halo Top ice cream, which was a little bit of a healthier alternative to the ice cream that was served at the restaurant that came with the meal, which I chose not to eat. And that's fine, it's always good to treat yourself, like I've talked about before, but I really was really proud of myself, and that consistency and that choice really showed the next day, and it showed, I tracked everything, and I was really proud of myself, because I did stay consistent, because a lot of times, especially when you're out with family or friends, you can be tempted to, just say, oh, I'm just gonna have the pasta, and which is fine. If you decide and you make that conscious effort to treat yourself, like I said, that is fantastic, and you can still see great results. But knowing that I was consistent and I made a choice that I knew would be beneficial to my results, even though it was just that small change from pasta to broccoli, I really did focus on that consistent change, being mindful of it, and really still enjoying my meal, still enjoying the fact that I could sit with my family and, chat and talk and not be distracted by the fact that I can't have pasta, or and I could have had the pasta, but I made a choice, which I've consistently made over time, and had it been a different meal, maybe I would have made a different choice. But for me, I craved those results. And that's one of the things that I tell my clients is, when you are stuck with these choices, maybe just put yourself in, okay, if I make this choice, I'm going to see these results. And if I make this choice, I'm going to see maybe these results. And a lot of times I tell my clients, crave the results more than you crave that momentary treat. And some people, for dinner, I don't do well. So for myself, I know that if I am intaking carbs, especially simple carbs like white pasta, white bread, white potatoes, rice, sweets, things like that, it tends to make me crave more carbs. And I know that because I've been consistently tracking. So consistent tracking is also going to help you. Consistent mindset is going to be huge. So if you are in the mindset of, oh, I didn't get to have pasta because I have to be, if you're in a diet mindset, you're going to feel guilty, you're going to feel anxious, you'd be thinking about that choice over and over again. But making a conscious positive decision because you want to get results over time and you want to make this a lifestyle is a huge mindset breakthrough. And it takes a while. It's not going to happen overnight, and you may not see those results immediately, but if you make those consistent, just small choices like that over time, you will see those results. You just have to really stay focused. You have to crave the results. You have to realize that when you do treat yourself, that it's not going to set you back to where you were in the beginning. A lot of times when I feel like I've treated myself and I kind of start to get in that mindset of, oh, great, now I threw away the day, or I threw away the weekend or whatever, I'll go back and take a picture of where I started and where I'm at now. And even if the scale is up the next day after treating myself, I know that is just a temporary thing because I'm making these small, consistent choices that will add up to these big, awesome, successful results. And you have to make the conscious choice. You need to shift your mindset around food, like I've talked about in a previous podcast. You really have to shift your mindset around food and take away that power that it gives you, that food has over you when you have that anxiety and that guilt in your mindset when it comes to food. Same thing, staying consistently. So for me, I prefer to weigh daily. I've come to a mindset with the scale, and that has been completely mind-blowing for me, because I was always the type of person that was scared of the scale, and I didn't weigh consistently. I would weigh once a month or once every 2 weeks, and I didn't get to see the fluctuations of my weight during the week. So I would, in my old mindset, when I was just weighing, I wasn't weighing frequently, I wasn't seeing those small changes every single day, or those small changes over the set of a week. And now that I'm seeing that, I'm seeing, okay, and I can link it back to, okay, this was a weight loss day, or this is a day that I stayed the same. This is what I ate. This is how much water I drank. And let's try this again and see if it works. And it's all that experimentation and trial and error with your own body, because we are all unique, and something is going to work different for each and every one of us. And that goes back to consistency too. Consistently tracking is going to show you what works for you, food-wise, hydration-wise even. So I've noticed, so generally they tell you half your body weight in ounces of water. a day. And I tried that. And so for me, that would be around 90, 92 ounces. Um, and that's just not enough water for me. I am very active. I am nursing. I have a toddler that I'm chasing around. I'm running all over the place. So I have to drink a little bit more. So I found that what works for me is around 210, 240 ounces. That's generally, sometimes it's more, sometimes it's less, depending on, if I have my water bottle with me, which I generally always have my water bottle with me unless I'm running somewhere just quick. And those are consistent changes that I've noticed have made a difference in whether or not I am seeing immediate results, whether I'm seeing some bloating after eating certain foods. And staying consistent with tracking has really helped me, both tracking my weight. And a good thing to do too is, if you're working on mindset, is to track your mindset and see where you are. So say I ate, track it with your emotions, track it where you are with your mindset. And really start to shift your mindset to a consistent positivity, and to track things like food, water, weight, what exercises you did that day, if you had a bowel movement, things like that. And you can really start to see what works for your body, because these cookie cutter plans don't take into consideration things like, IBS or things like PCOS. But you can shape them and make them flexible and find what works for you, and live a nutrition lifestyle instead of dieting, jumping from diet to diet, and trying to follow these really strict diets that are not personalized for you. And that goes along with consistency, because we know that nutrition is the most the most effective. Nutrition and mindset kind of, I find, go together. And those are going to be things that are key, and especially with consistency. You're not going to be perfect all the time, but making those small consistent changes. So maybe you notice that you need a little bit more water when you have a certain food. Maybe you notice that when you eat such and such food, it triggers you to eat more sweets, or and those could be healthy foods. Those could be things like sweet potatoes or quinoa, brown rice. Those things can still trigger you to make choices that are more treats than fueling your body. And that's one thing that you have to work on. So staying consistent in tracking, in your mindset, with your nutrition, um, finding an exercise routine that works for you, and switching it up when you're tracking, and seeing that maybe you need to switch things up every once in a while, maybe every 3 weeks or every month, or every week, and find what works for you. Consistently finding what works for you will get you those results. So thank you so much for tuning in today. Whether you're catching the live, you're watching the YouTube video, or you're listening to the podcast, I really appreciate you guys sharing this time with me, listening to what I say. I'd be so interested in knowing some subjects that you guys would like me to cover. I try to talk about my struggles when I'm struggling with something, but I really appreciate you tuning in and giving me this time. I hope you guys have a great week, and stay tuned, because we have more coming for you. So much for tuning in today and sharing this time with me. Please stay tuned for future episodes, and check out my podcast.